Good day, everybody. It is, let's see, today is Thursday, February the 3rd, and I've just gone through and graded your assignment number 3. Very well done there for the most part, but I've noticed that there's some questions that are popping up and a little bit of frustration, a little bit more than I've seen in the past with this course. So I thought I'd put together a quick video rather than sending out a large email to kind of go over a couple of things here and hopefully alleviate some concerns and answer some questions. One thing that's popped up a couple times now is people asking if they can use a hypothetical business. Of course you can, not a problem. If you have a hypothetical business that you want to use, feel free to just kind of jot down some notes as to what this business does. One thing I will highlight though is that this is a marketing plan, not a business plan. So it's not the responsibility of this plan or your assignments to prove that this hypothetical business would be viable. We're just going to assume it's a viable business and you are simply doing up the marketing plan for it. But it does help if you just jot down some notes as to the type of products that they're selling, how many employees they have, that kind of stuff, just so you can get a rough estimate for yourself as to the scope and how big this business, hypothetical business is. So I'm going to go over and I'm just going to jump into assignment number 4 here. So assignment number 3, many of you knocked it right out of the park there. Very well done. And I had a few people who didn't finish everything, and I had a couple of comments that people weren't sure what was going on, what to do. And so I want to make sure I address that sooner rather than later before you guys move on to future assignments. So in this case, assignment number 4. So I'm just going to bring up the assignment 4 here. Let's see, is that exercise behavior? Perfect. All right, so what you're looking at doing here is preparing a customer behavioral profile. Now, I've sent out a couple emails to a few of you here just stating that when we look at doing research, especially marketing research, it's both an art and a science. When I look at doing, say, a research paper on using finance or accounting, those are very quantifiable topics. When we're looking at marketing, we're looking at what's going on in people's heads, what's going on in their minds. It's more of a qualified information rather than quantified information. And that's why I say it's both an art and a science, because we want to see what people think, what do they believe. And so we're delving into their perceptions a little bit. And so we're going to make some assumptions, and I always tell all my students in all my marketing classes, because I do teach 2 other marketing courses as well, that your perceptions are right. Right? I'm not going to come back and say, oh, you shouldn't have said this, or I would have said this way. My perceptions are my perceptions. Your perceptions are your perceptions. Now, we're going to use different sites, such as Stats Canada, to try and get some quantifiable information. And then once we get that quantifiable information, we're now going to extrapolate using our experiences, using some of the theory that we've read, using some of the other articles and videos that we've seen in this course and other courses. And always feel free to bring in material from other classes. I strongly encourage that. You've spent time, energy, and money studying this topic, so if you have other knowledge you want to bring in, by all means, feel free to do so. But then what you're going to do is you're going to use this information and say, well, I believe that this is what's going to happen. So if I take a look at the customer behavioral profile, we're looking at what our customers think. What do they value? What do they believe? What are their emotions? And we can't quantify emotions. All right, we're just going to go through and we're going to try and extrapolate what we think they're thinking, what we think they're going to do, and most importantly, why. All right, so I have put some feedback into assignment number 3, where some people gave me some really good information in bullet point forms. So he gave me the what, but now I need the so what. All right, so we've got this information, but why is this information important? And so always extrapolate a little bit. Bullet points are fine. I do a lot of bullet points, but I always have kind of a paragraph at the end of it, at least, to explain the important bullets, or to explain a summary of what all these bullets mean here. So if we look at the psychological, we're going to look at their needs, perceptions, motivations, and attitudes, and you're going to be very hard pressed to find scholastic articles or news articles that examine just this information. We can often find some references to these types of things, but we have to go through a lot of different papers in order to find that. So for the psychological profile, take a look. Tell me what you think their needs are. What do you think their perceptions are? What are their motivations? What are their attitudes? And if you have a wide variety of these psychological needs, then what you want to do is narrow it down, and knowing that you can't serve everybody all the time. Choose those that you want to serve. What would your target customer look like? You don't need to serve everybody. You're not going to please everybody. So maybe it's the psychological need for helping people, or having current products, or the most expensive or the most inexpensive product. All right, you get to play around and have some fun with that. Sociological, so we look at the cultural, social class, and reference groups. The way I explain this is that we belong to a North American society. We also then belong to a Canadian society. Then we belong to, say, a provincial society. And then we belong to a community society. And if we live in a large community, it might even be a neighborhood society. And then within that, we've got different reference groups. So we have people that we associate with. We have people with similar likes, dislikes, what have you. And so what we want to do is identify what are the key aspects of this. We go from this big group down to this smaller group. Now in business, we need to keep our smallest group to a certain size just to have enough customers coming in to be profitable. But we want to be as specific as we can. And if our specific size isn't quite big enough to be profitable, that's good to know, because then we just have to expand it out a little bit. So feel free to give me all this information, again in bullet points. Just make sure you tell me why this information is important. So what would a business, whether it's real or hypothetical, do? All right, do with this information. And ultimately, we are creating a marketing plan. So we are, for assignment 8, your final capstone assignment. And so feel free to build this information in so you can use it in your final assignment. That's why I put assignment 8 up at the very, very start of the course, so you know what it will look like. And as we go through, if you guys ever kind of hit a big hurdle, feel free to fire me off an email. Email is the best way of getting a hold of me. You can put a question in the discussion item. I usually don't get to those till maybe several hours later, so I do find emails the most direct way of contacting me. And I'm happy to put together another video. If you're struggling on anything, odds are other people are struggling. Again, with assignment number 3, some people knocked it out of the park, some people struggled. But if you struggled, one thing I can tell you, everybody was struggling with basically the exact same things. There wasn't a lot of difference between where people were having some issues. So I'm always happy to put these kind of videos together. So with that, by and large, you guys are doing quite well. Assignment 3, a little bit of a hiccup there, but assignment 1 and 2 seem to be very well done. I didn't see any issues there. So I thought if there are any concerns, I'd like to address them now before we move forward. So I'll be checking my email as diligently as I can over the next couple of days. I see a couple people have already uploaded assignment number 4, so that's awesome. I haven't looked at them yet. But if you have any questions, you can always let me know, or if you want to update it, feel free to update your assignments as well. But if you're having any issues, feel free to let me know over the next day or so. I'm pretty busy on Saturday. I'll be away from the computer there, but I will be taking a look Sunday morning and again on Sunday evening. All right, so with that, happy studying, and I will talk to you guys soon.